We're starting with Vitalite. I know real butter's better, but sometimes you just have to watch how much dairy you're getting in. I'm going to speed through because it takes me a long time to butter. But outside every piece of bread. How do you make a sandwich better? By making it a toasty. Make sure I get the butter right up into the corners just to stop them burning once they get into the pan. Now we're going to flip back to the middle of our first sandwich, get all our cheese up, and happy handfuls of cheese right into the middle of the bread. When you're using grated cheese, it will look like a lot of cheese at first, but there are so many gaps of air in there, it's really not as much as it looks. Now for the first one, it's going to be the one for my daughter. We're just getting a bit of children's ham, just like Billy Bear, Minion ham, wherever you shop, whichever one. This is Aldi's Minion ham. Straight in the middle. Bit more cheese on top to make sure it seals. Now we're going to go stick the bottom half of the sandwich straight into the frying pan and cover it with the second half of the sandwich. Now I'm just going to turn it on high until it warms up while we go over to make our second. I'm grabbing Chilli Jam. I only recently discovered it. Really love it, especially on these toasties. And dollop right in the centre when it wants to come off the spoon. And we're just going to spread a thin layer over to make sure the cheese can still stick to the other slice of bread. Trying to spread it this way, it's a lot harder to get a nice even coating, but I tried it spreading the jam on first and it stopped the cheese sticking, so this was the better way round for me. Quick side note, I really do not recommend cooking wearing a cake. It was so tricky, but it was cold. I did what I had to do. Picking up a spatula, you want to be able to check the underside, make sure it's nice and crispy before you make that first flip. A little bit of pressure helps it all stick together. It's got a nice golden crunch to the bread. Flip it to check it. You probably want to turn your pan down to medium by now, but because mine went into a cold pan, mine hasn't been turned down to just about now. So a little bit of pressure helps it really crisp up on the bottom. You don't want to flip it too often, you want it to be able to sit on the pan to get nice and gold, but keep close to it. Don't go and leave it, that is when you will burn it. I'm just bringing the chopping board over to have it run next to the pan, so I'm ready to cut as soon as it comes off. Now mine's going to go in while I let the other one rest, just enough that the cheese will all hold together as I cut it. Place your two pieces straight into the pan, butter side against the pan and up at the top. Trying to juggle the camera and the knife at the same time wasn't the best decision. It was a little tricky, especially for me. But we got there. Now pick it up and enjoy the inside of your sandwich. Now back to my sandwich. Watch me fumble as I try to check the underside of it, and then flip it. Again, stand near it, don't let it go by itself, because that's when it does burn. Let's have a look at just how golden that bread goes if you don't leave it alone. I'm keeping an eye on mine a bit more than normal because it's nearly always I'll do hers, mine will burn afterwards. One last check to make sure it's nice and golden, and then off the hob. Can we just stop for a second and admire how perfectly golden that crust is? Okay, back onto cutting it. Look at that cheese pull. And look at that chili jam. The worst bit about cooking is anticipating how much washing up there's going to be. As you can see with this one, not a lot.